Welcome back to the channel, and if you saw the title of the video, you know exactly what I'm doing today. This little project right here, I'm going to show you exactly what I did for it, and why it took forever to make this video in the first place. Anywho, let's get to the project. As with most helmets, I start off with a 3D print, and I made this helmet in 3 pieces because I needed the visor to be as straight as possible, and if I did it the way that I've done in the past, it would ruin it, so this is the best way I could do it. And this file I bought off of Do3D. If you guys are interested, I'll put it in the description. And yeah, for the most part, the helmet looks pretty good, but there are a lot of problems on it, such as the fact that I did a misalignment, and that's gonna mean a lot of work. And this is what it looks like primed up, and now I really need to add all the spot putty. And your image is spreading it on the area where I need to make it look as smooth as possible. And I'll tell you guys right now, I did my best, but it's somewhat obvious on the dome part. But the rest of the helmet, it looks really smooth and you almost can't see the difference. And it may not look it here, but I'm going to add a little more work. And I'm actually impressed with how it looks so far. And something you guys should know, I actually started this helmet sanding the old-fashioned way. And for this one, we're going to use Krylon Metallic. And after giving it a good coat, I add some liquid latex. And this is actually the first time I've used liquid latex on a helmet. I've practiced with it on something else, but this is the first time I've done it on this. And let me tell you, it is not easy to use this stuff at first. I mean, if you put too much, it's going to look really bad. And seeing as how this is Boba Fett we're talking about, you need to add a lot of liquid latex onto this project. Saying that right now. I taped up a couple areas for a couple reasons, but in the end, it's not going to matter that much as long as we show off the silver. And this looks really good, but we need to dirty it up a bit. For this, I'm using Otter Brown Krylon, and it's actually pretty good when used correctly. Doing it on this helmet actually makes it look really old or dirty, like rusted steel or something like that. And as cool as of an effect as that is, I still need to add some liquid latex over some parts. The reason for that is that if you look at the paint job on Boba Fett, you can see some brown just under the red or green. And that's why I'm doing this little trick. Right now I'm painting over all the areas where we added some of the liquid latex. But for the cheeks, they're, I think, olive green. So I'm using a type of spray paint for that. For the back of the helmet, however, it's different. And this is why I say liquid latex can be annoying, because when I tape up certain areas, it rips off the liquid latex and I have to add new liquid latex. That's not too bad, but you have to wait for that to dry before you do anything else. So far the helmet is looking pretty good, and I'm going to start taping the helmet. But first I have to start printing more pieces for the helmet, such as the rangefinder and the little pieces that go on the back. While that's happening, I taped up the helmet already, and already gave it satin brick. It's a type of red that really fits with Boba Fett compared to all my other paints. Here I am removing all of the tape right here. And by the look of it, I think I'm actually pretty much done here. All I really have to do now is remove the tape and remove the liquid latex. And guys, this is why you really want to make it a little thick, because in certain areas you're going to forget where you put it, or you're going to have to look around when you're removing it. And if we look closely, that's exactly why I put brown on there, so you could see that there's some kind of grit under the paint. And I'm really glad I went with this layer by layer process, because this was something I've never done before, and doing it like this makes it look like it's been through a lot. And that's what you try to convey with paint, the story behind a helmet. And Boba Fett is one of the most infamous bounty hunters in Star Wars, so I had to do my very best on this one. And while removing the liquid latex, I noticed that there were some inconsistencies with the top, that it's not as battered or scratched, and for the next helmet I do, I'll definitely keep that in mind. And the reason I'm using only one finger right now is because I'm recording with my phone and it's kind of not easy. So as you saw, the helmet doesn't have its accessories that usually come with it, like the rangefinder right here. And that's because I printed these separately, and I'll be filling in right now. And for the heck of it, I'll be priming it in my hand just to show you guys what it's like. And sanding these things first really leaves less filling for later on, which is what I usually do. Like right here, for example, I sanded that thing very smooth, and yeah, for the heck of it, I just sand things and then fill in later. And my helmet's already ready, so let's move on. Alright, so after all of that, we still have one more obstacle to deal with. And that is the fact that there are 14 lines on the side of Boba Fett's helmet. And each of those has to be distanced properly. And I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to do that, using a method that I'm familiar with that I did for the Coruscant Guard helmet. Let's get to it. After looking for some of the more perfect images of this, I finally found a good picture of Boba Fett's helmet. And taking a good look right here, it looks like there is around 5 lines right there that are just past where this part is going to go. And they're being made right now, but we have to focus on this part. And it looks like the first line is going to be just somewhere around here. From there, I'm going to put 1 line of tape right here. Once I do that, I'm going to measure out where the next one is going to go. I know I'm not explaining this that well, but I'll show you guys what I mean in a second. Alright, so for this method I'm going to be using centimeters. I've measured out 6.2 centimeters from the distance of the tape that I laid to where the next stop is going to be, where the next line will end. And what I mean by that is that if we look here, like I said before, there are 5 lines that start and end to here. And I already measured out a line of what I'm going to do. I'm going to measure out 5 lines, somewhere around here. Each of them will be distanced, and if I like how it looks, I'll do that for the rest of the helmet. Now, how much distance I have to put between those lines is what I'm going to be determining right now. And I'll show you guys what I can do. After looking at all of the sketches that I've done right here, I figured out that making the lines 1 by 2, not 1 by 2, something like that. I'll show you right here. On this right here, I think it's 0.7. Yes, at 0.7, I will make the line that long. What I mean is, I'm going to make the line right here 0.7. And I'm going to distance that by 0.6. That's the distance for every line. And I came up with this little method right here. And now all I really need to do is sketch those onto some tape. Painter's tape. And then all I'm really going to do is distance that by 0.6, and we should have the lines ready in a couple minutes. Now, I just hope that it's going to look good. Alright, and this is what it looks like when everything is taped up, and it already looks pretty good. We're just going to tape everything that we're not going to paint yellow, and after that, I could start finishing up the project, because we're this close. Alright, so after I taped everything, I added some more liquid latex because we're going to need those to look very faded after this. And right here, I primed all the accessories properly, and I'm going to start spraying them with the metallic spray paint. And if you notice on Boba Fett's helmet, the lines that we are working on actually have a shade of orange in the back, which is something I had to do. And I do have a can of orange, it's just very old. And I also added some yellow to make it look close to what it's supposed to be. And this is the result when we remove the tape. And it looks really good. I am glad we did what we did for this one. Alright, so the rangefinder has been painted silver, and the back pieces for Boba Fett's helmet have been painted red, and I already added some liquid latex to all of these parts, so that should be good. For this part right here, I gave it a shade of yellow, and that's probably wrong because I've noticed that it's a type of brown, but I'll do some work on it if I can, but here I am just removing the liquid latex, and I'm actually starting to enjoy using liquid latex on my projects. And I made 6 of these pieces to go behind the helmet of Boba Fett, and yeah, I actually like how they came out because they look like solid steel, which is something you always want to go for. And this big piece that goes on, what was it, the left of Boba Fett's helmet, definitely needs a little more detail if I'm ever going to do it again, but it's not bad. I just used a streak of liquid latex for the line of silver, and I just taped off all the other areas, and boom, we have a piece. And like that, our helmet is almost done. However, there is one more thing missing. Something that every helmet needs. And with that, our helmet is finally done. After weeks of work, sanding, and painting, it is finally done. I have the 14 lines. I have even these little back pieces, of which there are 6, just to reiterate. And we even have the rangefinder all done. And I'm not gonna lie, there are a lot of things I want to do better if I ever do this again. For one thing, the cheeks should be dark green, and I found that out the hard way after looking at this color. And for the most part, I think we did rather well. And this definitely took a lot of effort, more than I expected, but in the end, I'm glad I did what I did. And for the sake of it,
Put Captain Solo in the cargo hold.
but anyway, this is what the inside of the helmet looks like, and yeah, I know there are a lot of inconsistencies on this helmet, but you learn from your experiences. And yeah, even though this file itself wasn't that accurate, I did my best with what I could, doing the paint job and everything. And yeah. Alright, so this helmet is for sale. It's on my Etsy shop, and it's in the link in the description if you're interested in the helmet. And I have other things on the shop as well, such as clone helmets that I still have on. But we're planning to do Mando helmets in the future. And I think I actually found a better file than the one I used here to do that on. So, hope you guys want to see that. Although this helmet does have a lot of things that are not that accurate, I did my best with what I could. And this is one of the biggest projects that I've ever done with liquid latex, because this is the only helmet I've used liquid latex on so far, out of everything I've done. Anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. I do my best with what I've got, and this definitely took a lot of time, and I appreciate all the support you guys have given for it. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.